Hello everyone, happy Sunday to you all. Don't know why I say happy Sunday, but day of rest and all that. New Year's Day, of course, as well. We're obviously wishing everyone the best for the new year, and hopefully everyone had a good time bringing that in. Christmas Day went really well, actually. We obviously reported our activities on Downs when we were going to see Charlotte, but it was actually a very pleasant day. We're both now resolutely trying and going to lose weight. We both got something of a shock, well I certainly did, when I looked at the scales today. Being quite neglectful of my health in terms of eating recently. I think most of us have, obviously it's that time of year, maybe drinking a bit too much as well. So yeah, we're both going to drive.
Manage a 3-mile run.
Yeah, 3-mile run.
Quite pleased.
So we're both going to try and drive into the new year with some enthusiastic exercise. Obviously I go back to Southampton University in late January, so it'd be nice to go there and look a bit trimmer. But you're going to spend the video today discussing further Charlotte's.
Yeah, I'm just going to do it up to the end of December last year, so I'll cover a bit of our Christmas Day last year, which was very different to this year's, and just how things sort of panned out at the end of the year. As I said, they are quite difficult to do, but I find them very necessary to do. I don't want to sugarcoat, as I've said before. So I'll be covering that.
Yeah, and I think obviously this time of year, I was out last night and I met a homeless man. I bought him a sandwich or whatever else. I suppose I think people neglect to think sometimes about people in different situations like that. I mean, I felt desperately sorry for this guy. So I think, if you don't want to make a resolution, maybe just give some money to charity, preferably our charity, or just, spare a thought for people which aren't quite so lucky.
Yeah, I didn't do very much last night. I went to bed at 10. In fact, I persevered actually with doing some more of the book that Charlotte started, but it's going to take a long time because it's trying to coordinate it all with medical notes as well. And there's so many of those, but I'll persevere. I'm just going to try and do a bit every day.
I did go out last night, as you can probably tell by the look on my face and my baggy eyes. Got back, 10 this morning, back here?
Yeah, I picked you up.
Wasn't out all night, stayed at a friend's, so yeah, that was good. And I'll now leave you to further your discussion.
So last Christmas was very, very different to the Christmas which we've just spent. Charlotte wasn't very well at all, but it was a Christmas that I'll never forget. It was actually just the 4 of us for once. We'd always had parents over and whatever, but I think we knew deep down it was going to be our last Christmas and we just wanted it all together. And Charlotte would always give out all the presents in the morning and wake us all up very, very early, but in fact last year she didn't actually wake up, I remember, till 8 o'clock. And it was lovely because we didn't have to fit in with anybody else, and we'd actually had a starter, and we never used to have starters, so I'd actually bought a bit of salmon, which was really nice, and we played Scrabble, and it was a thoroughly lovely day and a Christmas which I will always remember. On Boxing Day, she was desperate, of course, to get to the sales, and her walking was becoming so difficult. She would have to hang on to me for everything, but we did manage to get in, and she bought herself 2 little Christmas decorations in the sale, which I still have, and those are very treasured items and always will be. Cressida came down in December of that year. Now bear in mind I hadn't seen her since we were at school. We hit it off immediately, which is why we're still very, very close friends, and she is in fact the chair of the charity. And her daughters came as well, and Charlotte made a really, really good effort to engage with everybody, but walking was getting so bad that she would literally just fall in a huge heap. Miles and I would have to pick her up, her legs would just buckle under her. At the dinner table she could hardly really eat. She'd just sort of try and put the food in her mouth. It was incredibly sad to watch. Somebody who'd always been used to a knife and fork. At the end of that week, on the 30th, we went back to the Marston. I'll need to look at my notes for this, I'm sorry. We went back to the Marston and we left there actually feeling slightly more positive. He'd increased the thyroxine, which was to do with her weight, and said that the dose was probably too low and that if he increased it, it might help her weight. You could see that Charlotte's weight gain was a major issue, and he'd even, because she was so worried about her eye sticking, I think he'd said to her that he would try and speak to the eye consultant to see whether he could actually do something about it. There might have been a chance of immunotherapy abroad, but looking back on it, she was so ill, couldn't have travelled anywhere with her. She was getting quite tired now, but by a year ago today, by the 1st of January, I could tell that it just wasn't going to be anymore. I knew that she would probably die before long. She couldn't carry on the way she was. And just to show you very quickly how things can change, I will cover it in far more detail next week, but on the 3rd of January last year, she woke up and I'll never forget it, she said, "Mummy, I can't curl my toes on my right side." And I couldn't understand why, and I looked and she couldn't curl them. And within 48 hours, she was more or less paralysed on the right side of her body. And in fact, the last time she sort of walked, it was about the 4th of January. And in fact, that was about the last time. And to cut a long story, to start that again. And to show you how quickly things can change. I will cover it in more depth next week, but on the 3rd of January last year, he said, "I can't curl my toes on the right side." And in absolutely less than a week, she was paralysed down the right side of her body. And her arm was just stuck in that sort of position. And it stayed like that. And then she could obviously no longer walk. Next week I will cover a few days of January. I'll probably go quite slowly because an awful lot happened and there seem to be an awful lot of people involved as well to begin with. Anyway, thank you so much for all your lovely comments last week, and I do hope you have a good week, and I'll see you. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody and all the lovely comments that we've had. It's a new year, so hopefully the charity will take off and wonderful things will happen this year. It's still can't get used to the fact that she's not here. Sometimes I pretend to myself that she's on a gap year. In my heart of hearts, I know she's never coming back. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll speak to you next week. Bye.